Welcome back to Andersen Acres. Today we're diving into a topic that's crucial for duck owners to understand because mistakes happen. We are going to talk about understanding the duck diet and how to avoid mold in their feed and in their snacks. Moldy feed isn't just unappetizing, it's downright dangerous for your ducks. So let's explore how to keep our feathered friends happy and healthy. Okay, it is very important. This is an important topic. Ducks are omnivores, enjoying a varied diet that includes grains, vegetables, insects, frogs roaming around the yard, all that kind of good stuff. A balanced diet ensures proper growth, egg production, and overall good health. However, the quality of their feed is just as important as the variety. Okay, just as important. They need to have a good quality feed that is free of mold. Mold can develop in feed that's been exposed to moisture or stored improperly. The real danger lies in the mycotoxins, harmful compounds produced by certain molds. Okay, not all molds produce them, but a lot of them do. These toxins can cause serious health issues in your ducks, including liver damage, immune suppression, and even death. We don't want to kill our ducks. We want them to live long, happy, healthy lives. Therefore, we need to make sure we're not feeding them moldy feed. So you want to be vigilant for signs of mold exposure because mold can be sneaky, and sometimes even with the best of intentions, you accidentally fed them something that was moldy. Okay, so you want to be aware. Look for a bird that is lethargic or just really, really sleepy, seems to be sleeping all the time, more than is normal for that duck. Loss of appetite, ducks who won't eat are in trouble. Even if it's not mold exposure, they're still in trouble. Look for respiratory issues like gasping or coughing. This is really common with mold toxin exposure, even in people. So look for that gasping or the coughing. See if they're having diarrhea. This one's hard to spot because they are ducks, okay? And ducks have watery poops anyway, but waterier than normal, okay? Waterier than normal, okay? That's what you're watching for. Is it more watery than it normally is, okay? Just check and see if you think it's more watery than it otherwise is. You're also looking for sudden weight loss. Again, birds that don't eat lose weight, but you might not notice they're not eating unless you're standing out there watching them all day. So pay attention to their weight. If they're not eating, they're going to lose weight. Any of these signs could indicate mold exposure and potential toxicity. They could indicate something else too, so either way, those symptoms are a problem. You want to make sure that those symptoms are being addressed. The other one is over there. So you want to make sure those symptoms are being addressed. Even if it's not mold toxicity, it could be something else. So, what about preventing mold in the feed in the first place? This is ideal. Prevent exposure to mold and you'll never have a problem. So here are some tips. Store your feed in airtight, waterproof containers. Okay? If you dropped it in a lake, would water get in? Then it's not watertight. So you definitely want to make sure they're watertight containers, and you want to make sure they're airtight so there's no air circulation. Metal or heavy-duty plastic bins work really well. If you're going to be moving them around a lot, maybe do smaller bins. Those big ones can be hard to move if you need to move them. So if you are someone who needs to move your feed bins around, get something a little more mobile, but still make sure it's airtight and watertight. You want to keep feed in a cool, dry place away from direct sunlight, so you wouldn't keep your feed bins sitting out here in the sun. That's a bad place. I put them in the garage where it's cooler. There's a cement floor. Things stay cooler. Things stay drier. You want to purchase feed in quantities that your ducks can consume in a few weeks to ensure freshness. Do not buy a year's worth of feed at a time. Okay, just a couple of months is my recommendation. I literally buy every 2 weeks. I buy what I need for 2 weeks just to ensure the food is fresh and there is no mold in there. The larger the quantity, the longer it is sitting, the higher chance it's going to develop mold. So try to feed your animals, including your ducks, food that is as fresh as possible. Regularly clean your feeders and your storage containers to prevent mold spores from taking hold in the first place. You can't entirely eliminate mold spores. They exist in the environment. It doesn't matter where you live. They're there. You can help minimize the chance of them taking root and making your ducks sick if you clean your feeders, waterers, nesting areas, all these kind of things, the storage containers. Clean these areas frequently, okay? I like to clean everything at least once a month. Usually I do it more often. Feeders and waterers I clean once a week. But make sure things are clean, okay? It will help, I promise. I promise it helps to keep things safe and clean. So, what about treats? Well, treats are a great way to supplement your duck's diet, but they have to be safe treats. Sorry, I'm choking. But you want them to be safe treats. So you want to check, don't just throw everything into a scrap bin and then toss the scraps to your ducks. I know it's a great idea in theory, but you want to make sure everything is safe and everything is free of mold. So for safe foods, you're looking at things like lettuce, peas, corn, apples, berries, grains, oats, rice, all these kind of things are very good and fine for ducks. They're fine. What you want to do is double check that all of the food is free of mold. So can you toss a piece of bread out to your birds? Yeah, sure. They shouldn't eat a ton of bread, but yeah, you can throw them a piece of bread. Can you throw them a piece of bread with mold on it? No, that goes in the garbage. So do not feed them moldy foods. These will introduce harmful toxins. You also want to make sure that the foods you are feeding them aren't spoiled, because you might not see the mold until it's growing and fuzzy. So if the food smells weird and you wouldn't feed it to your cat, I know you don't feed tomatoes and stuff to your cats, that's all I'm saying. But if you wouldn't feed that to your house pet, you probably shouldn't feed it to your ducks. Okay? It's not a good idea. So many duck owners have faced challenges with moldy feed over the years. So one person shared with me at one point, I noticed my ducks were less active and eating less. Upon checking, I found mold at the bottom of the feed bag. Then they got in touch with a vet and had things tested and had the vet look at the birds, and turned out, yeah, it was mold exposure. Regular inspections and proper storage can help prevent these issues. So pay attention, okay? Pay attention to all that stuff. You want to make sure that you are, hi guys, you want to make sure you are not feeding them spoiled or moldy food, okay? Remember, ultimately, it's our job to keep our ducks happy and healthy. You want to provide a balanced, varied diet. Store the feed properly to prevent mold. Be cautious with treats. Make sure they're fresh and safe. You can't toss every single scrap you've got out to your ducks, because a lot of it is going to be spoiled and have mold spores. It's going to make your guys sick, okay? Monitor your ducks for signs of illness. Even if you don't think it's mold, it could be something. It's okay to pay attention. A lot of people think they should just ignore their birds, but I promise you need to pay attention, okay? By staying informed and proactive, by noticing changes in your birds, by knowing whether or not you're going to call the vet, well, this can help ensure a happy, healthy flock. Too many people think, I'm just going to put them in my backyard, ignore them, and throw whatever junk comes out of my kitchen at them. Don't do that. It could kill your chickens long term. All right? Make sure everything is healthy. It will help maintain the health and happiness of your flock. That's about it for us here today at Andersen Acres. Drop a comment below if you've ever dealt with moldy feed or have tips on keeping your ducks' diet safe. I'd love to hear your experiences. We'll see you tomorrow.